Fractional exponents. A base that has exponent of a fraction. It is a technique for expressing roots and power together. One way of expressing fractional exponent is in the radical form. A to the power of m over n can be written as the nth root of a raised to n. Parts of the radical. The index, which is the nth root of the radical sign or the symbol, and inside the radical sign is the radicand. Here's the rule. Base A is the radicand. Denominator n is the index, and the numerator m is the power. Four to the 1/2 power. Base 4 is the radicand. Denominator 2 is the root index, and the numerator 1 is the power. 4 to the 1/2 power is exactly the same thing as the square root of 4, and the square root of 4 is equals to 2. Power of 1 usually not written because any base raised to 1 is just itself. Root 2 index is also not written because root 2 is just the square root symbol. (64 to 1/3 power). Base 64 is the radicand. Denominator 3 is the index, and numerator 1 is the power. 64 to the 1/3 power is just the same thing as the cube root of 64. And the cube root of 64 is 4. (32 to the 2/5 power). Base 32 is the radicand. Denominator 5 is the index, and the numerator 2 is the power. 32 to the 2/5 power is just the same thing as the 5th root of 32 raised to the 2nd power. 5th root of 32 is 2. Then 2 raised to the 2nd power is 4. Evaluate fractional exponent. (125 to the 4/3 power). Denominator 3 is the index, and numerator 4 is the power. The cube root of 125 is 5, and then raise it to the 4th power. And 5 to the 4th power is 625. (100 raised to the 3/2 power Denominator 2 is the index, and the numerator 3 is the power. So the square root of 100 is 10. Then raise it to the third power. So 10 to the third power is 1000. 16 to the power of negative 2 over 4. Reduce negative 2 over 4 to negative 1/2. Then flip it into reciprocal to make it positive exponent. Denominator 2 is the index and numerator 1 is the power. So the square root of 16 is 4. And 1/4 is equals to 0.25. 27 to the power of 2/3. Denominator 3 is the index and the numerator 2 is the power. The cube root of 27 is 3. Then raise it to the second power. So 3 squared is equals to 9. The quantity of 16 to the 8 raised to 1/4 power. 8 times 1/4 is equals to 2. So 16 squared is equals to 256. The quantity of 8 over 125 raised to 1/3 power. Raise 1/3 power to both numerator and denominator. So we have 8 to 1/3 over 125 to 1/3 power. Denominator 3 is the index and numerator 1 is the power. The cube root of 8 is 2 and the cube root of 125 is 5. So the answer is 2/5 or 0.4. Simplify the following. Quantity of 100 to the 1/2 power raised to 0 power is equals to 1. The quantity of 81x to the 12, y to the 20th power, all raised to negative 3/4 power, raise negative 3/4 to each factor of the product. The denominator 4 is the root index, and the numerator negative 3 is the power. So, the fourth root of 81 is 3, and then raise it to negative 3 power. Then 12 times negative 3 equals negative 36, divided by 4 equals to negative 9. And then 20 times negative 3 is equals to negative 60, divided by 4 is equals to negative 15. Flip it into reciprocal to make them all positive exponents. So the final answer is 1 over 27 x to the 9th y to the 15th power. The quantity of 36x squared Raised to 1/2 power. Raise 1/2 to each factor of the product. Denominator 2 is the root index, and the numerator 1 is the power. 36 to the 1/2 power is the same thing as square root of 36. Then 2 times 1/2 power is equals to 1. Root 2 of 36 equals 6. And x raised to 1 is just x. And the final answer is 6x.